great to be here again to present the Mr. or Ms. Clearwater Award to our recipient on behalf of the Chamber. Tonight's going to be just a little bit different. In recent years, the winners have been one individual. Tonight, we are bestowing this honor upon a married couple, as Mr. and Mrs. Clearwater, as they've been inextricably linked in their enduring efforts to make Clearwater a better place. For those of you who keep track of those things, we can remember 3 times over the past many years where married couples have been recipients of the awards as Mr. and Mrs. Clearwater. They would include the Reverend Otis and Barbara Green, George and Maria Cantonis, and Jerry and Melody Figursky. Earlier tonight, I've seen Barbara here, Maria, and Jerry and Melody, so thanks for being here. So, who are our honorees? I'm going to start with the wife, Mrs. Clearwater. She does not have quite the public profile as Mr. Clearwater, but she is beloved, truly beloved by this community. She grew up in Delaware, and as a child became very well known for her outgoing personality and leadership skills. She demonstrated her entrepreneurial skills by charging neighborhood kids a dime to watch her perform Shirley Temple's songs and dances. In the 6th grade, she became the president of the YMCA youth group, having just moved into the area. In her senior year of high school, she was voted the happiest person in her senior class. Isn't that nice? Shortly after graduating from high school, Mrs. Clearwater met the future Mr. Clearwater. They married in 1976, and in 1984, nature took its course, and they had a child. After careful consideration, they named the child Baby Clearwater. The family moved to Clearwater in 1988, and immediately upon arriving, the Mrs. immediately became very involved in the community. She was Volunteer of the Year at Safety Harbor Middle School and at Countryside High School. Interestingly, she made and donated dozens of cigar box handbags with all the proceeds going to charity. She led a fashion show for ARC. She led Monopoly Works Charity Night and the fashion show for the Abilities Foundation. She also co-chaired various events and functions with Mr. Clearwater, which I'll get to in a moment. Moving on to Mr. Clearwater. Mr. Clearwater grew up in Delaware also. He was always hustling, always working. He was a very fine athlete. He was a semi-professional boxer. He could dunk a basketball into his late 30s on a 10-foot basket. He was a fine baseball player, and at a Phillies fantasy camp, launched a long home run to clear the outfield wall by 30 feet. I'm not on the selection committee. I'd give him the award just for that. Mr. Clearwater earned a bachelor's degree and a master's in business administration from Wilmington University in Delaware. During that time, he also drove a UPS truck, joined the Teamsters, and courted Mrs. Clearwater. One of his avocations was coaching semi-professional baseball. Some of those games were televised on local cable. One day, the local cable operator asked Mr. Clearwater to broadcast the game over the cable network. Within a year, Mr. Clearwater was the general manager of the cable company. As noted earlier, in 1988, Mr. Clearwater, Mrs. Clearwater, and Baby Clearwater moved here as Mr. Clearwater had been hired as an executive at Vision Cable. Mr. Clearwater's list of civic involvements is simply too long to read it in its entirety. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. But let me give you some highlights that he's particularly passionate about. They would include Clearwater for Youth. He was also the founder of the Clearwater National Super Bowl Championships. Additionally, deeply involved at Ruth Eckerd Hall, the Aungst Sr, the Chamber of Commerce, the Tampa Bay Partnership, the Tourist and Development Council, the Florida Cable Television Operators Association, and the Florida 2012 Olympic Committee. Mr. and Mrs. Clearwater co-chair the Morton Plant Meets Toast to Life, Charity Works Monopoly Night, and the American Cancer Society Cattle Barons Ball. But their most public role was that of the Mayor and First Lady of Clearwater from 1999 to 2005, when they brought in the modern era of progressive ideas and professional demeanor, an appearance that made all of us proud. Please recognize with me the recipients tonight, the beloved Karen Aungst Sr. Mr. and Mrs. Clearwater 2017.
Wow. Shocked by this, I'm almost speechless, but I'll think of something. First of all, I didn't know we had a posse this big, well protected. But I guess the first thing I want to say is what an honor it is for Karen and I to be included in the group of community leaders, beacons of our community who have been so recognized in the past. It's beyond a great honor, so thank you very much for that. Secondly, the folks that picked this award, I am so pleased that they recognize that there is no Mr. in this relationship without the Mrs. She has been I'm sure Brian Jr. will agree that every accomplishment we've had over the years, she's directly responsible with her love and care, advice, and participation. So thank you very much. I guess a perfect example of that is when I always joke about my 6 months of temporary insanity when I decided to run for mayor. And we met with a number of people, and Ed Armstrong, you can verify this because you were one of the first people that told me this, was at the end they said, okay, we think you can run, but the rule number one is everywhere you go, everything you do, Karen needs to be right out front. In other words, she will win the election, just don't you screw it up. And they were right. You know, we moved here, our main goal was to get involved with the community, go to a place where we could have a good family environment. Brian, I think, was 4 years old, get a good education, and where to get involved in. You know, the community accepted us. We were so blessed that they accepted us and worked with us over the years. And we were very fortunate to be able to get involved through our little part. And then when Brian and Carrie met at the University of Florida, decided to get married, moved back here, they have now become great community leaders for their generation in their own right. So we're very, very proud of them. I think Karen will agree, though, the best thing they ever did was give us our beautiful granddaughter, Brenton. So thank you very much for this, and I didn't know I was going to have this opportunity, so just bear with me for another second. A lot of you know the difficult time that Karen's going through with her health. She's doing great. When something like this hits home, you realize in a hurry what a caring, giving, compassionate community we live in, the outreach has been overwhelming. So just thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate it so much. God bless, and have a great evening.
While they are taking a family photo, I'd like to ask if we could please have all of the past award recipients for Mr. and Mrs. Clearwater please come to the stage. We'd like to get a picture of all of you together. If you could please come up to the stage, that would be